Janice Dickinson has long been a name synonymous with the glamour, grit, and unfiltered audacity of the fashion world. At 70 years old, this reality TV star and former supermodel continues to captivate audiences with her razor-sharp wit, unyielding confidence, and a career that spans decades of high-stakes glamour and personal triumphs. Long before she became a household name through television appearances that showcased her no-nonsense personality, Dickinson was the epitome of the high-fashion siren, a slender, striking figure whose face graced the covers of the most prestigious magazines in the industry. Her journey from a small-town dreamer to an international sensation is one marked by relentless ambition, boundary-pushing decisions, and an unapologetic embrace of her own evolution, both in front of the camera and behind the surgeon's knife. Picture this: the late 1970s, a time when modeling was exploding into a global phenomenon, and Janice Dickinson was at the forefront, turning heads with her exotic beauty and fierce presence. She wasn't just any model, she was the one who landed on the covers of Harper's Bazaar, Cosmopolitan, and Vogue, publications that defined the era's aesthetic ideals. These weren't mere photo shoots, they were cultural statements. Dickinson's images captured a raw, sensual energy that contrasted with the more polished, ethereal looks of her contemporaries. Her lithe frame and piercing gaze made her a favorite for advertisers seeking to sell luxury and allure. Versace and Calvin Klein, two titans of fashion, chose her to embody their brands in campaigns that still evoke the opulence of that disco-infused decade. In Versace ads, she draped herself in bold prints and metallic fabrics, exuding an Italianate sensuality that felt both accessible and unattainably chic. For Calvin Klein, her minimalist poses and crisp white linens became icons of understated sex appeal, influencing generations of photographers and models alike. But Dickinson's foray into the world of print wasn't limited to high fashion. She boldly stepped into the realm of adult entertainment with a Playboy spread that cemented her as a risk-taker. Hugh Hefner's magazine was more than just a publication. It was a cultural lightning rod, celebrating the female form in ways that both empowered and objectified. Dickinson's appearance in the late 1970s was a masterclass in confidence. Nude, unretouched, and utterly commanding. She posed with a vulnerability that masked her steely determination, turning what could have been a controversial move into a triumphant declaration of body autonomy. This wasn't about desperation, it was about owning her sexuality in an industry that often demanded silence from its stars. Reflecting on that era, one can see how it foreshadowed her later career choices. Always pushing envelopes, always demanding to be seen on her terms. As the 1980s dawned, Dickinson's star only rose higher. By her early 30s, she had become an international celebrity, jet-setting between Los Angeles, New York, and Paris for shoots that paid handsomely and built her legend. A photograph from 1986 captures her in Los Angeles, striding down a sun-drenched street in oversized sunglasses and a flowing trench coat, her hair tousled by the breeze, the very picture of effortless cool. At 32, she was at the peak of her physical prime, but it was her personality that truly set her apart. Unlike many models who faded into obscurity after their best years, Dickinson diversified early. She parlayed her fame into television, becoming a judge on America's Next Top Model, where her blunt critiques, often delivered with a dramatic flair and a perfectly arched eyebrow, became the stuff of meme-worthy moments. Her tenure on the show from 2003 to 2006 wasn't just entertaining, it was revolutionary as she advocated for diversity and resilience in an industry notorious for its cruelty. Television became her playground, extending beyond judging gigs to starring roles that peeled back the layers of her larger-than-life persona. The fourth season of Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew in 2008 laid bare her struggles with addiction, a raw and vulnerable portrayal that humanized the glamour girl. Viewers watched as she confronted demons that had shadowed her success, emerging not as a victim but as a survivor. This authenticity carried over into her own series, the Janice Dickinson Modeling Agency, which aired from 2006 to 2008. The show followed her as she built and ran her own agency, scouting talent, negotiating deals, and mentoring aspiring models with the tough love that defined her. It was a behind-the-scenes look at the cutthroat world of fashion, filtered through Dickinson's lens of hard-earned wisdom. Episodes highlighted her business acumen, from discovering fresh faces to clashing with industry insiders, but also her personal life, blending professional triumphs with glimpses of her chaotic romantic history. Fast forward to the present, and Dickinson remains a force, recently spotted at the 2025 AFI Fest opening night premiere of Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere at the TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood. At 70, she turned heads in a leopard print top layered under a sleek black coat, paired with matching bell-bottom slacks that hugged her figure just right. Sparkly black platform heels added a touch of rock and roll edge, while her red pedicure peeked out playfully. Her long, dark hair fell straight and glossy down her back, framing a face that defies chronological expectations. With a winning smile that lights up red carpets, she proved once again that age is merely a number in her world, a number she refuses to let define her. This appearance wasn't just a nostalgic nod, it underscored her ongoing relevance in Hollywood's social scene. Married since 2016 to Dr. Robert Rocky Gurner, an LA-based psychiatrist, Dickinson has found stability in a partnership that supports her unapologetic lifestyle. Their union came after a harrowing battle with breast cancer, which she announced in 2015. The diagnosis was a gut punch, 2 lumpectomies and 6 months of radiation followed. But Dickinson faced it with the same ferocity she'd brought to runways and boardrooms. Beating the disease wasn't just a medical victory, it was a reclamation of her narrative, proving that even the supermodel could be humbled and rise stronger. Gurner, with his calm demeanor, has been a grounding force, allowing her to channel her energy into advocacy and self-expression.